Marcus doesn't love me or our daughter. Yet he's fallen madly in love with Lily's dance teacher. He poured a huge amount of money into purchasing an opulent home just to house her as his secret lover. His feelings for her are out in the open for everyone to see. The instructor visited me one day, showing the bruises covering her skin. "I'm truly apologetic," she cried. "I never wanted to be the one breaking up a family, but he refuses to release me. Could you assist me in fleeing abroad?" In a vulnerable instant, I consented to aid her getaway. Marcus lost his mind with fury. He fastened an explosive device to our child. "Reveal Melody's whereabouts, or I'll detonate it while you watch." I collapsed in tears and immediately disclosed where she was. Once he departed, a countdown started on the device attached to Lily. Tick, tick, tick. Without hesitation, I dashed toward her. The explosion hurled me away. My daughter's form disintegrated into a haze of crimson, staining everything around. "No!" I wailed. When my eyes reopened, I found myself returned to the moment I first learned about Marcus's affair. My device vibrated with a message from an anonymous sender. This round, it included multiple images. In them, Marcus looked at the woman with deep warmth. Regardless of her activity, dining, scrolling on her phone, or simply gazing off, his stare remained full of adoration. That lady was the center of my spouse's world, the person who awakened true emotion in him. This enigmatic contact would sporadically send snippets of Marcus and Melody's intimate times. Through these, I glimpsed a more vulnerable aspect of Marcus. The sender kept going. "Are you aware of how deeply your husband cherishes that woman? The slightest unhappiness from her sends him into a panic. They're tying the knot at Evergreen Estate this evening. You're not intending to show up uninvited, right? Why not end the marriage? Do you believe there's still hope?" I clutched my phone hard. I'd attempted to track this number previously without success. But I had a hunch about the identity. The agony and dread for my daughter's loss lingered. Trembling, I replied, "It's you, right?" No response came. This time, I won't attend Marcus's ceremony, unlike in my previous existence. In that timeline, I was stunned to hear my husband was marrying another. Although Marcus and I had been wed legally for years, we'd skipped a formal event. I acted impulsively and stormed the venue. During the celebration, I created a massive disturbance. Marcus regarded me as if I were a total outsider and presented divorce documents in front of everyone. "Simply agree to it. I want to build a genuine household with Melody," he stated icily. Melody wept hysterically. "No, if you leave your spouse for me, I'll be seen as the villain." Her tears only intensified Marcus's defensiveness toward her, amplifying his resentment for me. That ceremony marked the end of my union with Marcus. Following it, whenever Melody attempted to flee, Marcus blamed me for orchestrating it. Every failed escape led to him punishing me, confining me in the cellar, stranding me in a blizzard all night, or abandoning me in remote areas. When I pleaded for separation, Marcus mocked. "Separation? I offered it earlier, and you refused. Now it's off the table." That ill-fated event sparked all the subsequent horrors. I refused to repeat that error. I returned to Lily's room. Observing her rest so serenely finally eased my pounding pulse. In the shadows, a droplet trailed down my face. Things weren't always this dire. Marcus once showed kindness to me and Lily. During our early marriage, he was attentive. His affection was awkward yet fervent. He'd return from his job with blooms daily. He'd embrace me and whisper, "Darling, I'm not skilled at romance, but I'll do everything to treat you right." At that time, he resembled a stray pup, vulnerable and needy. I recall that Marcus's grandfather, to prepare the successor, imposed harsh emotional suppression exercises on him from youth, such as slaughtering the pet dog Marcus nurtured and compelling him to consume it, or dismissing the caretaker who had shown him compassion. Worst of all, pushing Marcus's mother to take her own life by fire. Marcus was molded to lack any sentiment or bonds, becoming an emotionless tool. But is it possible for anyone to fully erase their humanity? I adjusted the covers over Lily. As my hand grazed her tender skin, memories of her birth flooded back. Marcus had been anxious while gingerly holding her. He treated her as if she were fragile porcelain. After a pause, he uttered, "What a small being." Under the soft hospital illumination, his gaze revealed an unwitting softness. I believed we were heading toward better days. But after a visit to the ancestral home, everything shifted. He regressed to his distant demeanor. Actually, he grew even more detached and harsh. He ignored me and Lily, as though we were invisible. I speculated if an incident occurred there, perhaps some coercion. Yet when I expressed worry, he dismissed me as foolish. You really imagine grandfather is pressuring me? Too much drama in your shows. Olivia, I've come to see that feeling anything for you is repulsive. Repulsive. That's the word he used for us. Until then, we might have kept up appearances. But Melody's arrival shattered everything irreparably. He became obsessed with her, rebelling against familial demands for her, almost causing his grandfather a collapse. When I challenged him, he gave no justification. He felt nothing for me, not even basic regard. My phone hummed persistently in my grasp. It was the mystery sender, once more. Spineless. I murmured quietly, if spinelessness keeps my daughter and me alive, I'll embrace it. Marcus adores Melody. Let him pursue that. I won't meddle now. After exiting Lily's space, I contacted my attorney. Hi, I require assistance with splitting our shared property. This cycle, I'll accept the split. I'll claim Lily and depart this nightmare forever. However, destiny seems to delight in tormenting me. An hour on, Marcus returned after a long absence. He burst through the entrance with a deafening crash. Before I could inquire, he struck me down with a brutal boot. I tumbled into the aquarium. The pane fractured in all directions. Fragments pierced my rear, crimson liquid swiftly gathering below. Marcus eyed the spill, a sinister spark in his vision. Fury blazed as he pressed his foot onto my palm. Olivia, where did you stash Melody? He growled, jerking my scalp upward. Had Melody escaped once more? The agony overwhelmed. I rushed to clarify. I'm clueless. I swear I did nothing. She probably chose to go. You have the nerve to deceive? Marcus hurled me into the barrier. I felt fractures in my frame. He approached steadily. She's so innocent. She vowed to stay for me. You had to have frightened her off. I promise, it wasn't my doing. My tone quivered from the hurt. Why wouldn't this fiend just back off? I'd stayed out of it this go-around. Even before, I'd only assisted Melody's departure per her plea. How did that lead to such a brutal fate for me and my child? Marcus lounged on the sofa, his face impassive as he observed me. Following a prolonged quiet, he abruptly said, Don't you worry about Lily's fate? My form froze in terror. The ghastly vision of my daughter's demise remained fresh in my thoughts. This monstrous creature was menacing our offspring yet again. Something broke within me, shattering my resolve. Ignoring the searing pain in my body, I dragged myself toward Marcus, bowing repeatedly, pleading. Please, I beg you, don't harm our daughter. Spare her. I swear, I had no part in Melody's disappearance. I'll sign the divorce papers right now, if that's what you want. Seeing my desperation, Marcus grew quiet. Abruptly, he seized me and hauled me into the basement. The air reeked of damp rot. Cold metal cuffs clamped around my wrists and ankles. In the dim corner, I spotted the device, a machine for electric torture. Tell me where Melody is, he demanded, twisting a knob. A low buzz of electricity filled the space. I didn't do anything, I screamed. The shock tore through me, like fire erupting across my skin. I'd endured this agony in my previous life too, barely surviving. Wires bound my limbs, and every movement amplified the jolts. Does it hurt? Marcus hissed in my ear. Not knowing where Melody is hurts me more. Suddenly, a metallic groan echoed from deeper in the basement, followed by a child's sob. Mommy, my heart froze. As Marcus loosened his hold, I shrieked. Marcus, don't touch her. He glanced back, his eyes cold, like he was staring at a lifeless body. A minute later, he returned, cradling Lily in his arms. Her eyes were puffy from tears, yet she still clung to her father with trust. Daddy, why is Mommy chained up? She whispered. Marcus gently brushed away her tears and said lightly, It's just a game, sweetheart. Want to try it too? I shook my head in horror. Please, Marcus, I'll do anything. I'd die to prove I didn't touch Melody. Just don't hurt our daughter. I was frantic. If my death could ensure Lily's safety, I'd give it without hesitation. As I prepared to bite down on my tongue, Marcus clamped his hand around my throat. Die? Your life's worth nothing. You'll stay alive until I find Melody. His phone rang then. He set Lily down, and she ran to me, sobbing quietly, fumbling with the chains she couldn't undo. On the call, one of his men reported. Mr. Holt, we've located your wife. Of course, they meant Melody, his true wife. I was just that woman. They found her at the airport, attempting to flee the country. Still chained, I was dragged along to the scene. From a distance, I saw Marcus envelop Melody in a tight embrace, his breath ragged. "Why do you keep running? Are you trying to destroy me?" he choked out. "Melody, you're toying with my heart." His voice trembled with raw emotion. Melody shrank into him, sobbing hysterically. "I'm the homewrecker. I've tore apart your family. I'm a monster. I deserve death for ruining Lily's life. I was her trusted teacher, and now she'll despise me." As she spoke, she snatched a knife from Marcus's belt and aimed it at her throat. In an instant, Marcus grabbed the blade, blood dripping from his sliced hand onto her white dress. It bloomed like a scarlet flower, stark and vivid. Melody dropped the knife, staring at his wounded hand in anguish. Why are you so kind to me? I've fallen for you. What do I do now?" She pounded his chest, crying so hard she could barely breathe. Marcus discarded the knife and pulled her close, as if he could meld her into himself. I watched, numb, my heart too hollow to feel. He soothed her patiently until her sobs quieted. She turned to me, tears streaming again. "I'm so sorry, Lily's mom. I never meant for this. Don't apologize," Marcus cut in, stroking her hair gently. "It's not your fault. I pushed you into this. My Melody is the purest soul. You mean more to me than anyone." Melody wept harder at his words. Their gazes locked, a scene both passionate and heartbreaking. Marcus kissed her forehead tenderly. "Stay with me, Melody. Don't run again." She nodded faintly. But, weakened from not eating and overwhelmed, her blood sugar plummeted, and she collapsed in his arms. Panicked, Marcus scooped her up, hands trembling. As he rushed past me, he shot me a venomous glare, as if I were his greatest foe. A week later, Melody came to me. She looked better, a bit fuller, wearing a delicate white dress that made her seem otherworldly. She found me at the mansion, where I was preparing to discuss divorce with Marcus again. Avoiding my gaze, she murmured, "Lily's mom, I'm so sorry. I'm terrified, and I don't know what to do. Maybe you could help me escape the country." It was happening again, only sooner this time. In my past life, she waited 6 months to ask. "I'm staying out of your matters," I said firmly. Melody's eyes widened in shock. She'd expected me to jump at the chance to get rid of her. "Why not?" she blurted. "Don't you want me gone so you can win Marcus back?" Realizing her words, she quickly backtracked. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." I waved her off. "Go. If you don't return soon, Marcus will lose his mind searching for you." That night, Marcus stormed in, furious because Melody had visited me. "What did you say to her?" he demanded. I shook my head. "Nothing. She asked me to help her flee the country." I refused. He stared at me, surprised, as if seeing me anew. "You're acting off," he said, eyes narrowing. "You're imagining things," I replied. He didn't push further. A call from Melody came, and he rushed to leave. As he headed out, I handed him a document. "What's this?" he snapped impatiently. "A consent form for Lily's study abroad program. We both need to sign as her parents." Too eager to meet Melody, he scribbled his signature, without looking closely. Unbeknownst to him, a divorce agreement was tucked beneath the form. After the door slammed, I exhaled deeply. I packed our bags and took Lily toward the airport. But before we could leave, several sleek cars screeched to a stop outside. My stomach dropped. Marcus stepped out and stormed over, kicking our suitcase aside. Lily wailed in fear. He didn't spare her a glance, his eyes burning with hatred as he glared at me. "Going somewhere? Running after what you've done?" Sweat beaded on my skin as I held Lily close, my hands trembling. "What happened? Tell me clearly," I said, trying to stay calm. "Still playing innocent?" He grabbed my throat, his face contorted with rage. Lily cried, tugging at his hand, but it was futile. His voice was glacial. "Melody got a rash right after seeing you." I was stunned. Once again, he thought I'd poison her. I tried to explain, but he drew a gun and fired into my right hand. The deafening shot made Lily scream in terror. Pain overwhelmed me, nearly pulling me into darkness. Just before I passed out, his cold voice cut through. "You're lucky Melody's injury wasn't worse. Otherwise, a bullet would have been the least of your problems." I woke 3 days later. The bullet was gone, my arms swathed in bandages. Lily slept curled beside me. My phone buzzed. It was the unknown number. Marcus is away with Melody on a trip. Get out now. I'd once thought Melody might be behind these messages, but now I knew it was someone I hadn't seen in years. Against the doctor's advice, I checked out of the hospital. The doctor, reluctantly, called Marcus. On the line, Marcus sounded irritated. "What, is she dead?" he barked. The doctor stammered. "No, sir. If she's not dead, don't waste my time." He hung up. In the background, I heard Melody's soft voice. "Darling, is that about your wife? Is she okay?" "She's okay. Don't concern yourself," Marcus said dismissively. The doctor, visibly uncomfortable, finalized my discharge. I grabbed Lily and left without a backward glance. As the plane ascended, the view from the window was stunning. Meanwhile, Marcus seemed distant during his getaway. An odd unease gnawed at him. Melody, splashing in the water, noticed him staring blankly at his phone. Marcus. He jolted back to reality. Melody, draping a shawl over her shoulders, looped her arm through his. "What's wrong? Are you thinking about Lily and her mom?" "There's nothing to think about," he replied sharply. Melody's brow creased, her thoughts drifting. After a moment, she perked up. "Come join me in the water, Marcus." Normally, he'd cater to her every desire, but today his mood was off. "Play on your own, Melody. I've got things to handle." Without waiting for her reply, he walked off. Melody bit her lip, trailing behind him. She caught him glancing at his phone repeatedly, his face tight with frustration. Her sharp eyes spotted him, opening a chat labeled Olivia Reed. Then, Marcus summoned his assistant, his voice laced with irritation. "Contact Olivia. Tell her to bring me some papers." The assistant nodded but returned shortly, looking uneasy. "Sir, her number, it's disconnected." Marcus didn't react immediately, though the phrase "that woman" stung faintly. He'd been the one to insist his staff never call Olivia Mrs. Holt. "Disconnected? Did you dial wrong?" Melody's gaze flickered nervously. She cut in. "Marcus, did your wife leave you?"
He scoffed.
She wouldn't dare. In his mind, Olivia would never abandon the Holt family's wealth and status. He was sure she was still at home, stripped of all pride. He ordered his assistant to check the hospital. After the assistant left, Marcus reclined by the pool, his tension easing slightly as a thought crossed his mind. Melody sat beside him. "Why do you despise your wife so much?" Realizing her words, she corrected herself. "It's not just hate, it's like the pain of being betrayed." Marcus sank into thought. After a long pause, he spoke. "She betrayed me once." Melody looked up, startled. Olivia didn't seem like someone capable of that. Marcus's eyes darkened, cold and sharp. Even now, the sting of that betrayal lingered. As a boy, Marcus had two close companions, known only as 01 and 02, trained by his grandfather to be his loyal shadows. They were always by his side. When he was sent to an island for a cruel training to strip away his humanity, 01 and 02 went with him. Desperate to escape the Holt family's grip, Marcus planned to flee with them. But on the day of their escape, 02 betrayed him. 01 was killed instantly, and Marcus was nearly beaten to death by his furious grandfather. He never imagined 02 would re-enter his life as his wife, under a new name. His grandfather's sinister words still echoed. "Who do you think you fell in love with? Your life's a mockery, Marcus. Olivia Reed is 02, the one who betrayed you." The assistant returned, holding a folder, his face uneasy. When Marcus didn't see Olivia, his tone sharpened. "Where is she?" The assistant hesitated. "She checked out of the hospital. They said you approved it." Marcus stiffened, recalling the call. Before he could erupt, the assistant hurried on. "I checked the mansion too. She and the young miss are gone. But I found this in the entryway." He handed Marcus the folder. Marcus opened it, confused, and saw a small red booklet. Melody peeked over and gasped. "A divorce certificate?" Marcus flung it to the ground, his face stormy. "When did I agree to a divorce? Olivia's lost her mind, forging documents now." Paraphrased novel, Part 6. The assistant stammered. "Sir, it's real. I verified with the Civil Affairs Office." The divorce was finalized on May 8th. May 8th. Marcus's eyes narrowed. That was the day he'd signed what he thought was a form for Lily's program. Realization hit, and his rage boiled over. Melody tried to soothe him. "It's all right, Marcus. She's gone, and you two were never in love. Why keep hurting each other?" Inside, Melody felt a quiet thrill. She had a conscience, and didn't want to be a mistress. Marcus's devotion, his power, his looks moved her deeply. But he'd never spoken of divorcing Olivia to marry her. The wedding they'd had was just a gesture to appease her. Deep down, she knew without that legal bond, she'd always be the other woman. Now, with Marcus divorced, things could change, but Marcus cut through her thoughts coldly. I don't accept this. She's staying by my side forever. Melody froze, speechless. Meanwhile, Marcus barked orders to his men. Find Olivia Reed and bring her to me. He seemed composed, but a dull ache throbbed in his chest, unshakable. He didn't understand the suffocating panic gripping him. Lost in thought, he lit a cigarette, forgetting Melody's asthma. Her coughing snapped him back, and he quickly stubbed it out. Turning, he saw her teary eyes fixed on him. Marcus, you can't let her go, she said softly. No, that's not true, he shot back, almost defensive. Footsteps approached rapidly. Before Marcus could turn, a sharp slap stung his face. It was Ryan, his younger brother. Melody gasped, covering her mouth. Marcus clenched his jaw and swung a fist at Ryan. Looking to die, kid? Ryan hit the ground, struggling to rise. At 10, his features echoed Marcus's, but were softer, more boyish. I hit you because you're scum, Ryan spat. You knew Olivia was 02. Why didn't you tell me? I've been searching for her. Marcus smirked, looking down at him. Still obsessed after all these years? Forgotten she's your sister-in-law. Ryan's face reddened. Stop lying. Olivia and I are innocent. Don't twist it. Fuming, Ryan lunged again, but Marcus was ready, pinning his arms back. Ryan paled but refused to cry out. Melody stepped in. Ryan, your brother didn't mean harm. Your family, why fight over her? Shut up. Ryan roared, veins bulging. You're just his mistress. What right do you have to speak? The words stripped Melody bare, leaving her humiliated. Neither brother paid her any mind, locked in their clash. Ryan shoved Marcus off with all his strength. Be honest, Marcus. Hasn't Olivia been good to you? That first year of your marriage, when enemies hunted you, she risked her life to save you. You torment her over grandfather's lies. Where's your conscience? Marcus smoked silently, his eyes heavy with conflict. But she's 02. So what? As 02 or your wife, she's been loyal. Ryan's voice grew louder. Marcus's gaze turned lethal. He drew his gun. Melody's coughs worsened, her legs buckling at the sight of the weapon. But Ryan pressed his forehead to the barrel, fearless. 02 saved my life once. I didn't recognize her for years. I deserve death. Shoot if you want. I believe 02 never betrayed you. I trust her. Why can't you? You face life and death together. Why believe grandfather's lies so easily? Maybe this is all his scheme. He'd never let you have a weakness. Why would he allow 02 to exist? Ryan's words pierced Marcus, each one striking deep. The gun fell from his hand, clattering to the ground. Ryan gave a bitter smile and turned to Melody. What do you see in her? Because she's everything Olivia isn't. Soft, fragile, innocent-looking. He stormed off, leaving his words to echo. Melody's face drained of color. Ryan's words didn't scare her as much as Marcus's reaction did. She'd never felt so unsteady. She'd always been sure of her hold on Marcus's heart, convinced he felt nothing for his wife. But his response now struck her like a cold blade. A wild thought gripped her. Maybe Marcus had never truly loved her. As Ryan suggested, perhaps she was just a stand-in, a pure version of someone who'd never betrayed him. Not Melody Song, but a shadow of someone else. Tears poured down her cheeks as she stumbled back. She turned to storm off. Marcus didn't stop her, just kept smoking, his face unreadable. Melody hesitated, glancing back in disbelief. Her voice shook. Marcus, are you giving up on me? He chuckled, but his eyes were empty. Don't complicate things. Go back and wait. I'm not in the mood for your little runaway games. As he spoke, his gaze fell to the ring on his finger, his expression dazed. I have to find her. I can't let her go. Melody's breath hitched. She heard the raw grief in his voice, unmistakable. Jealousy surged within her. At first, she had meant to fall for Marcus. But over time, she'd genuinely grown to love him. Now, here she was, the mistress, envious of his legal wife. The plane touched down in a serene, picturesque country. A tall man with a scar across his face waited at the airport. I froze. Brother. He grinned warmly. So you haven't forgotten me. I thought you might have. This was 01 Jack. He was the other orphan raised by the Holt family alongside me years ago. Most knew him only as 01, but I remembered his true name, Jack Yates. He knew mine too, Joy Lee. Olivia Reed was the false identity grandfather forced on me. I realized Jack was the one sending those anonymous texts. My eyes welled up. Years ago, I'd watched helplessly as grandfather cast Jack into the sea. For so long, I thought he was gone. Jack took our bags, his face tightening as he saw the bandages on my hand. I pulled back instinctively. Avoiding his eyes, I mumbled, I cut myself cooking. He didn't push, silently loading the luggage. As he drove, he glanced at me in the rearview mirror. His gaze was deep, like an endless sea. It brought back memories of our youth, when Jack would quietly take beatings meant for me, his resolve unshaken. The car climbed a winding mountain road. Lily slept in my arms. Fishermen pulled me from the sea that day, Jack said suddenly. Sunlight filtered through the window, catching the scar on his brow, a mark he'd earned shielding me from a blade long ago. Joy, don't go soft. Not for grandfather, not for Marcus. We both knew grandfather had altered my face and wed me to Marcus to make him destroy his own vulnerability. Jack slammed the brakes. He turned, his face grave. I'll never betray you. And I know you'd never betray me. Tears stung my eyes. On the day we planned to escape the island, grandfather's men had restrained me. He fabricated proof of my treachery and threw Jack into the sea when he sensed something was wrong. Word of my escape with Lily reached Marcus. 2 weeks later, early one morning, the doorbell chimed. Through the peephole, I saw Marcus, weary and worn. Melody stood beside him, her eyes puffy from crying. I took a deep breath and opened the door. When Marcus saw me, his tension seemed to ease. Melody spoke first, tears brimming. Lily's mom, please come back. Don't make Marcus worry anymore. Quiet. Marcus snapped at her, then turned to me, his eyes swirling with conflicted emotions. Thank God you're safe. My safety's none of your concern. We're divorced, I said, pulling Lily behind me. At divorced, his face darkened. He laughed, as if it were a bad joke, and reached for me. I won't allow it. Jack stepped out from the kitchen, blocking his path. Marcus, leave her to her peace. When Marcus saw Jack's face, recognition flickered. His chest heaved as he raised his gun to Jack's head. The air crackled with danger. Melody shrieked in fear, but in a flash, Marcus swung the gun toward her. A bullet grazed her cheek, lodging in the wall with a dull thud. Melody crumpled, her face ashen, staring at Marcus. Her voice quivered. Why? He loomed over her, his tone icy. You know why. You spoke to grandfather. I stared, stunned. Melody?
How?
Her laughter turned wild, almost unhinged. Yes, I did, Marcus. I just wanted to be your wife. How have you treated me lately? I only told grandfather where you were. He promised I could join the Holt family. That's all I did, I swear. She lifted her tear-streaked, dirt-smudged face, her eyes burning with resentment as they locked on me. Olivia Reed, why did you have to run? Couldn't you just play your part in my love story? You think you're safe here? Grandfather Holt knows where you are. None of you will escape. A gunshot shattered the air. Marcus had pulled the trigger. Melody fell lifeless instantly. I shielded Lily's eyes and hurried her inside. Marcus acted as if Melody had never existed, calmly instructing his men to dispose of her body. His gaze was chilling, devoid of humanity. Suddenly, police sirens wailed outside. Jack whispered, "It's Interpol." In the chaos, Marcus rushed toward me. His trembling arms wrapped around me. He leaned close, his voice low. Go with Jack. Stay hidden. As Jack guided Lily and me away, Marcus stood in the house, his figure stretched long by the fading sunlight. His eyes, heavy with surrender and grief, followed us as we left. What would become of Marcus? Would grandfather, that monstrous man, let him live? Jack drove us deep into a thick forest to a safe house he'd prepared long ago, stocked with everything we'd need. Lily fell asleep, and I tucked her into a soft bed. Jack looked at us with gentle warmth. You're safe here. The old man's reach doesn't extend this far. I nodded quietly. Moonlight slipped through the trees, dappling Jack's face with light and shadow. In the days that followed, we settled into a calm routine in the cabin. Lily spent her days sketching in the yard. Jack and I worked tirelessly, compiling evidence of Grandfather Holt's crimes and reaching out to Interpol. Then one day, Jack got a call. Marcus is in trouble. Grandfather Holt, cornered, had sent killers after him. Marcus had been shot, his survival uncertain. Jack and I exchanged a glance. We knew we had to return. The evidence we'd gathered needed Marcus's help to go public. We took a red-eye flight back. At the hospital, security was heavy, with Marcus's guards posted everywhere. They let us pass without question. In the room, Marcus lay connected to machines, pale and frail. Ryan sat by his side. When he saw me, his eyes widened. "Olivia, you came?" Ryan's voice was rough. "He's been waiting for you." Marcus, long in a coma, stirred, his eyes fluttering open. They landed on me, a faint spark igniting within them. "Honey." His voice was faint, but carried a desperate edge. I knew he'd come back to himself. When had it happened? I stayed silent, lips pressed tight. Marcus gave a pained smile, then coughed, blood staining his lips. "I'm sorry. I realized too late after you left. I owe you and Lily so much. There's a USB in our old house. It has all the proof of Grandfather's crimes." He coughed again, more blood spilling. The machine screeched warnings. His eyes, filled with regret and anguish, locked on mine. "Olivia, I'm so sorry," he rasped. "If there's another life." The alarms blared louder. Doctors and nurses flooded the room. Marcus didn't survive. He passed away. His death became the final blow to topple Grandfather Holt. I retrieved the USB and handed it, along with our evidence, to the authorities. It detailed Grandfather Holt's crimes spanning decades. The proof was undeniable. He was arrested, and the Holt empire collapsed overnight. Ryan stayed behind. He chose to remain, saying he wanted to make amends for the family's sins. The nightmare was over. Lily and I began anew. As Lily grew, her spirit brightened, full of life and laughter. She never spoke of Marcus, but sometimes her drawings featured a vague, shadowy man. Seeing them, I'd weep quietly. I'd thought young children forgot easily, but deep down, she hadn't let go of the father who'd hurt her, and, in the end, redeemed himself with his life. Jack stayed with us, a steady brotherly presence. To Lily, he became Uncle Jack. We lived quietly, peacefully. It wasn't a flawless ending, but for Lily and me, it was the best we could have hoped for.